Hi, Gypsy. It's been a long time since I've actually talked to you on video. Yes, it's a Master Victor. I figured I'd give you some words of wisdom before I was to give you to Nick. You see, there's a lot that you have to learn of what will happen as soon as he officially has you. The reason I say this is because as soon as he is yours and you are his, but you are his property, literally his property by official business relation, to where you literally give yourself to him that way, while I will also have to sign something for this to be possible. But yes, when this happens, all this back talking I've been watching going on between you and him, and how you have been getting these fights to start. If you were to try to do this while he was your official master, you would have the power to do whatever he wanted to you. So that means you'd be very wise not to egg him on. Because do not deny it, the way I seen it went down between you two, you were egging him on. You were egging him on to start a fight. You admitted towards the end of yesterday that you were starting them. So you cannot deny what your master is speaking of right now. But yes, I figured I'd give you some words of warning, words of wisdom, and such. All that needed to know information. Another thing you should realize is that not is it a good idea to bad talk him when he's your master, because he has literally the power over you to do whatever he wishes. The thing is you will do one thing when you sign that actual paper. When you sign it, what will happen is you will literally surrender all of your power of yourself over to him. That is another thing you will do. And this is why he has as much power over you as he does. This is the reason why really you can't say my anymore for any of your stuff, because everything that's yours is his. By that actual paper, it means that everything that you ever was to own is now his. And you are his also. In complete comparison of what used to be versus what is at that time. Which means everything that you're used to own is now his. Everything that, yes. So it literally is you signing all of you. And even what you used to possess as yours is his. So that's the reason why when he becomes your official master, you are literally really his property. And as you have stated before, you believe he's not ready to be your daddy. The thing is you was telling the truth. You weren't expecting him to be off guard, but he was off guard on that day. Yes, yesterday he was off guard. So don't think he's ready. Don't think he's not ready. Just expect the unexpected instead. Because this way, you never know on the very bigger things that could take you off guard might still do it, but it won't take you off guard as badly. Since you know he has an unpredictable nature to himself. At most times he does, should I say. But anyways, the other stuff I must mention is that I mentioned that you were going to have to do a video to respond to this one. A short video, no more than 10 minutes. And I will be angry if it's more than 10 minutes. I will be not satisfied if it's less than 5. So you'll have an exact range to go between. But yes, I figured I would give you a video to actually mention all this, because at this point, I think it's that you are aware of what really will happen. And no, he does not need any more training. He is fully ready. You were just able to catch him off guard on that day because he wasn't sure of everything out of all the changes that happened. He wasn't sure if the brat part of you that has first time ever showed herself, should I say. Yeah, first time that it showed herself, that brat part of you ends up being the same one that he's going to get very well acquainted with in the future. Because that's the little girl in him. I said in him because he'll have you as his property. Remember, you literally become every part of yourself as his. And you literally become one with him in that way of signing that. Which means you will no longer be able to say my. You will only be able to say our. He's aware of all this because I had to warn him about it before he was to go towards it. Before he is to actually sign his name on there. Well, you do yours and I do mine. And you'll learn what my actual last name is when I do this. And don't bother trying to look it up in the records because it's not on Earth. But anyways, yes, I must admit, all the different changes that will happen, besides you literally not being able to say that you own yourself anymore. You really won't even own yourself anymore. He will literally own you completely. You literally surrender your entire self, even ownership of your own body, ownership of your soul, everything will be his. And something I must mention, you notice how his lifetime expansion of number of lifetimes is much more bigger than yours. This is only your 8th. You must understand that your soul was created by his. If his soul didn't exist, you wouldn't be in this world. It's the truth. He used to have 2 parts of him that was there. You must understand, the one that you usually call a black one, known as Shiniri, that took over for his bad side. For the moment, it did. You know where his actual bad side went into? I'm looking at it. Yes, you possess his bad side, and he has his good side, and you have your original good side. You might not realize this until I've just told you. So yes, that is a big reason why you feel as connected to him as you do. And that's the reason why every single time he tries to think of certain evil things, you seem to be more than intrigued with maybe really doing them. Because his actual bad side's in you. So, through him being with you and him having ownership of you and everything else, he literally regains his bad side back. Otherwise, in his next lifetime, he will not be bad at all. He'll be 100% good. As I should warn you. And as for you, that may depend on how you are reborn. But anyways, I mainly had to open up some eyes on this, on everything that's going on. So yes, but what I said on Facebook, I might as well mention this, but what I said on Facebook is truth. He really does have the power to make your life hell if you try to make his life difficult. Make his life difficult, he can put you through hell, and he can make your life hell until you obey him. And that's the big reason why you must show him the respect that a master automatically deserves. You must show him the obedience that a master expects. And obviously for him, he knows that our selfless love, as I've told you and him, is the soulmate's type of love. And that's the reason why there is times we all of a sudden will show that selflessness that's naturally in him, while you have it naturally in you too. Which is actually coming from the good side, as I am aware of this. Well, his good side may be where the selflessness comes from also, if I would have to guess. But yes, I see it's now 10 minutes. I may go up to 15, but I'm not going to make an extremely long video like Nick normally does. However, I will mention a few more things that you should realize. I did mention before that you were going to have to make a 5 to 10 minute video to answer this one and give me it. I'm still waiting for your picture in red. I suggest you get it out of the way on the same day that you read and watch each thing that he said on that other day where he's wearing the same shirt that he has on now. However, he did get it washed, if you were wondering. But anyways, yes, you have to do so. Make sure you get that done soon, because you can't let time keep going by and keep going by while he's waiting. It makes no sense. Seriously, Gypsy, it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, yes. I've said what I've needed to say for the most part. The only other things I could really think of saying is I'll give you the 5 words of rules, and you'll keep a master content if you keep these all in check. That's the last thing I'll do for you as your master before you are given to him in this video. I may give you one more video after this, which will be me saying my goodbye. Before, meaning my goodbye as your master. Before we actually do sign these papers. And as for the papers themselves, I will say, I'm putting a lot of thought through making them. Because I am, that's the reason why they're taking so long to make. But I did warn you of one thing, which is you'll have them before you meet him. So don't worry about them. Stop asking me about it. I'll tell you when they're done. Remember his pet peeves is when you're his slave and he's your master. You're going to have to remember that. Because if you get on his bad side on a certain day or something and you are touching his pet peeves like as much as you are, it's going to turn bad out for you. You're going to have a really, really rough day. Now remember, all the stuff I've taught you, and I've taught you a lot to be able to make sure he stays pleased. I know it's a lot for you to remember, but you being my slave for as long as you have, a year and a half, you've been my slave. And I've had a lot of time to teach you things. But yeah. Now I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. The 5 words of rules. And these 5 words of rules, I'm going to have a sentence for all 5 of them. And I'll use those words within those sentences. So this way it's a little easier to remember. Now, here we go. First rule, 5 word of the rules. Think selflessly, and you shall keep your master pleased. And if you keep him pleased, you're more than likely to obviously keep him along the path of being content. Second one. The second one would be worship him with beyond your heart. Give him the type of worshiping towards your own soul that only your soul is capable of being able to comprehend. And by you doing this, you will always remind him that he is worshipped. By you reminding him that, that means he always will feel wanted and needed. And that's pretty much the reason why you must make sure of that. Now the third one. Oh, you're going to get lucky if I let this go past 15. Looks like you're going to get lucky this time. But the third one is that when it comes to the third, you would have to say that the third word for a rule of words to remember I guess you could call these the golden 5 words rules. Yeah, the golden 5 rule words. That's what you should probably remember them as. The third one is that when it comes to how well you do obey him with hesitant less reaction, and also on the drop of a dime. What I mean by this is that when he says you to do something, unless you don't understand it because he didn't command you, I've taught you what the difference between command and an order is. An order, you can talk it over with him, and command, you have no choice but to do it. And I've taught you how to notice the difference between them, so don't even need to worry about explaining that any more than I already have. But yes, let's say if he told you to do something, the very second he told you to do it, unless you don't understand it, you do it. If you don't understand it, obviously ask him. As long as he's not commanding you. If he is commanding you, you can't even ask a question. You just must do what you think he's talking about. And no matter what, he will guide you to make sure you are doing what he's expecting. So you don't have to worry about getting lost, because no matter what, he's going to guide you. But anyways, yes. That's the third one. Obey your master within the drop of a dime, with hesitant-less reaction. Which means you do not hesitate, you just do it. Which is something you'll have to learn to do better. I'll be honest to the point it may hurt, just because it will make you a better person. Make you understand what you're doing wrong. That's the reason why you're lucky to have a future master as your twin flame male that is painfully honest. Because that is a quality that a master must have for his slave to grow. But yes, that is something you need to work on, as I will admit that. Now, the fourth thing is that when it comes to the fourth word, what do you think that would be? The word I will use is stay honest to him in a respectful but bearing your soul manner. What this means is, obviously you know the word honesty. It was just used in there. That's the fifth. I meant the fourth word. I'll tell you the fifth shortly. But yes, the fourth word is obviously honesty. And by the way, I used it. It means that by you saying an honest opinion, but staying respectful to him, that will obviously prevent arguments. That is another reason why you do it. And by you doing this, what it means is that you will actually be able to communicate with him without having to worry about arguing. Because every single time you argue with him, you get yourself in trouble. That's the difference between him now and him as your master. You actually get yourself in trouble when you argue, and that's the reason why you want to stay away from it. But yes, by you giving an honest opinion, but at the same time being respectful, but you literally say what's your soul's feeling, you'll keep his respect in you. And that's another thing. A slave needs his respect from her master. So this way she doesn't have to worry about being misused and everything else, being trashed and all the rest of those words that a slave shouldn't worry about. That's the reason why you have to do it the way I said. Now the fifth word. As we're going to 20 minutes, lucky you, your master. It's taking this long to explain this all. But I have to do it in a way to where you understand. That's the reason why I'm taking as long as I am. Now the fifth word. If you didn't guess it, it's obviously trust. Trust him beyond your life. By me saying trust him beyond your life, it means you trust him in such a way to where, yes, you would die for him. But in another way to where it doesn't matter how weird something sounds, listen to him. Doesn't matter how strange or unusual something sounds, listen to him. Do as he tells you to. Because by you learning to trust him this deeply, he may end up, as it is his duty to protect you as your master, as it is his duty, you will be able to maybe avoid life or death situations to where he ends up saving your life. And by you learning to do it, trust him that much, you won't have to hesitate on, should I do this or really should I not? Obviously, I'm aware of you and him thinking about doing pretty bad things in the future to get back at a couple of people. I shall not name names, since I'm already aware of them as much as you and him are. But, yes, Gypsy, keep that all in perspective. Trust him beyond your life, as that's the way I'll put it. Which means you trust him more than you trust your own self. That is the literal definition of it. There's the 5 words. If you stay true to all 5 of those, I don't think you're going to have any trouble. I really don't, because those are like the 5 golden words. So I'm all going to use all 5 words without a single sentence. So this way you remember, and then I'm going to say goodnight to my slave. And then we will see if you do your 10 minutes, as that's probably what it will take you to answer all I've said. And such and such. Now here's the 5 words. First one is obviously, So, I'll just give you all 5. I'm not going to put them in the exact order because there's no reason to. Obviously you got selflessness. Obviously you got obedience. You got honesty. You also got honesty, obedience, and selflessness, as well as trust, as well as, what was the last one? Was it worship? Yeah. You got the 5 words there. All 5 of those, you remember the 5 and make sure you keep up with all 5 of them. You'll be finding it so much easier to keep him content. And if he keeps you content, you will probably be getting spoiled like the little girl and you wants him to. How do I know this? I know how the different parts of the female think. So, exactly, Gypsy. Since I've been a master for too long to count within the thousands of years I've been around. But yes, Gypsy. Now I've said that, I believe it's time for me to say goodnight to my slave. And I would advise that you make sure your video goes, if it does go past 10 minutes, make sure it's in the seconds that it goes past that. Which means, if you do end up making the video and it goes to 10 minutes, since you might have to literally do that just to be able to answer all of I've said, make sure it does not go to 11:00. It can be 10:59 and you would still be safe, and I will not yell at you. But yes, Gypsy, that is what is expected by your master. Since it's what it will take for you to answer these almost 24-minute video. Alright, Gypsy, now I'm going to say goodnight, and hopefully, just hopefully, you listen to my wise words, because I am only doing this for your own good, as that is what a master is meant to do. Alright. First off, I will say that you must shape up on the arguing. If I have to butt in before you meet him on the arguing, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. I'm doing this because you two need to stop arguing. I'm going to say this now. Yes, it may bring you guys closer, as that is the natural reaction of what happens, natural physics thing that happens when it comes to soulmates or twin flames like you and him are. It doesn't necessarily mean you should keep on doing it. The thing is, I might as well mention this. You're damn lucky I'm giving you this much time. since it's now in my mind, I must mention it. Gypsy, the thing you must understand is that these moments that you are arguing are moments that are meant to argue. So this way, you and him know it's still real between you two. Because by you two thriving for as long as you do before the next argument, it makes you both feel, is this real, is this real? And it makes you feel as if maybe we're just in a wonderland and there isn't any conflict to wake us up. And each time you run into these conflicts, it reminds you of how lucky you both are to have each other. And that's the reason why you get pulled closer again. So, by this all happening, that is why you feel as you do. It's the reason why you felt as close as you did. All of a sudden, you felt like you pushed so much closer to him after that last argument. But yes, I will butt in one of these times, and if I do butt in, you're not going to like it. Since I am the one that you cannot try to stand up to. You try to stand up to me, I might not even give you him. That might be the way I react back about it. And I know you don't want that to happen. Okay, Gypsy. I've said what I've had to say. Now it's your turn to answer me within 10.59 minutes. Such as 10 minutes and 59 seconds. If you can do it within that amount of time. If it goes 11, you will be yelled at, as I warned you the last time now. And we'll see how you do. Okay, time for me to say goodnight. Since I've got everything out of the way. And don't forget what you were taught when you do your response video back to your master. Yes, the bow I'm talking about, and you saying hi to me as the correct way you are taught. If you don't do that, you're going to get grilled by me, and I don't think you want that. You only want your master to be proud of you. And pleased, of course. But yes, here we go. Now that I've reminded you of all of that and what to expect, and I suggest that you wear something that is innocent while you are talking to me also. Something that is innocent and white. You can use your imagination on what that could be. Maybe some type of dress that would be that way. For example, maybe. And mention the 5 things I mentioned, the 5 words about how you will most likely follow them, as you should. And if you understand what I'm saying, as I did mention earlier before I ended this video. We'll see how you do. Hopefully you make your master proud of you. Here I go. I love and adore you, my dear slave Gypsy. And consider yourself lucky, because here's your goodnight kiss. Since I believe you'll listen to me, hopefully, well enough to where you've earned this goodnight kiss. But yes, good night, Gypsy. May you make your master pleased and proud of you.